Hello everyone, so this video is addressed for those who made me some questions regarding to this article here, the anti-traversing to the array formula. If you haven't seen this before, please take a look on it because it's required in order to see this video and understand what is going on. Okay, so great, and as I said, I have received some comments regarding to the 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 article. And first of all, forgive me because I understand that without a practical example, I had a gap in my explanation. So that's what I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show you a real example where I had to apply this formula. I'm not saying that it was the only solution, but I'm saying that it was a viable solution. So, for example, we have questions from Miro regarding to from where this specific logic numbering for each number for each element in the board is came from. He's talking about this one, and I'm going to answer him. And we have also other questions regarding to a practical example. So where could I use that? So where did I use that? So that's what I'm going to show you here. And hopefully this is going to be enough to you to understand and also to find out where this could be useful. But don't worry, I'm going to show you everything here. Great. So starting from the problem itself, let me open this. So the problem that originally created the needed for this formula was this exercise. So if you look at my GitHub account, there is a repository called simulated slot machine. Forgive me for everything here, it's a little bit a mess. I did this very quickly, but this is really important in order to you understand the needs that brought me to the place where I had to find a way to retrieve the symbols without traversing the entire array. Okay, so I'm going to show you right now. So first, let me introduce you the requirements of the exercise, and as long I'm reading and explaining each one here, you are going to be able to understand everything. And the exercise was about a simulated slot machine. So we are simulating a slot machine behavior here, and we have a bet of €1. Okay, and this our system is going to generate a board with 5 columns and 3 rows using 10 different symbols, and those are the symbols. Okay, and now it's the time to answer the first question. So Miro made me the question here about from where this specific logic is coming from. So from where this specific logic here that I've mentioned is coming from. So it's pretty much coming from the requirements of the exercise. So if you pay attention, if you look a little bit closer to this table and compare with the table that I have used in the article itself, you will notice that the ordering and the way of the numbering ordering logic, it's different. And it's because in the exercise they gave me this kind of ordering, starting from the column at the very top 0, 1, 2, which isn't, at least in my opinion, very common. So I have decided to create an example and write the article based on a more common approach, a more common way of numbering elements in an array. Okay, so this is much more common, I guess. Great, so I hope the first question is answered. It's basically coming from the requirements. So let's continue here with the practical example in order to better understand the exercise. And then I'm going to show you when and why the formula was needed. So suppose that the board generated the following random symbols. So the system took those symbols and then it generated randomly for each element on the board a different symbol. So this is the representation in a bidimensional array. It's pretty much a table, as you can see. And okay, so let's suppose that we had this output, and this is where the needed to apply the formula started from. So a payout happens when 3 or more consecutive symbols of the same kind are present in a pay line. Always starting from the first column 0, 1, and 2. 0, 1, and 2. So in other words, a payout must start always from the very left in the table. Okay, and finally we have an array of pay line sequence. So we have, like, if you look at my code in the repository that I've mentioned to you a few minutes ago, I have an array in the settings with the pay line sequence. So the first pay line sequence and its respective positions, logical positions. So those are the configurable pay lines in my example. So you could add others here if you want, or even remove some. And great. So this is the exactly point where I had the needed to use the formula, because when I was sending the exercise, the tests of performance, it wasn't good. So I had to think about that, and then the formula showed to be a very useful thing for me. So instead of traversing everything in order to reach the desired logical position and return the value of that position of that element, I basically, applying the formula, I was able to just send the logical position, which is pretty much those guys here, and in just one shot, very quickly, fast, without traversing anything, I was able to retrieve the values. And if you look at, again in the code, there is a method. Okay, so this is the method in the board model which retrieves the symbol. This is the method who has that has the implementation of the formula itself. But I have to emphasize that this formula here, it's regarding to that specific logic numbering. Okay, this one, which is different from the one that I showed you in the article. Okay, so there are two different formulas. If you want to check this another one here, you have just to take a look in the repository, and it's everything there. And of course, this code I did just in few hours, so there are some improvements to be done, some to do, so don't worry about that. Please be a good guy with me. Okay, so let's continue here. So as I was saying, this method retrieves the element, so receives the integer from the pay line, for example 0, and then this method is going to come in the board and look at, okay, so who is the 0, and then this method is going to calculate the row and the column and get the value of this method of this logical numbering directly, without the need of traversing or do any kind of logical interactions or whatever. So this is exactly why I had to use the formula. I had to follow this approach. And now we have a method here which pretty much do what is needed in order to check if the values that represents each pay line here, for example, this pay line 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, it's pretty much the first row. Okay, so we have several different combinations for several different sequence that represents pay lines, and in order to have a payout, so in order to earn some money in this game, you must have 3 or more consecutive symbols on the same kind in the pay line. Okay, so for example, as you can see, 0369, 0369 are JJJ. So we won something here because we made 3 consecutive symbols equal, and then there are other logics that are regarding to the percentage of money that are going to be added to the bet. So 3 symbols we have 20% of plus in the bet, 4 symbols, and so on. So guys, this is part from the explanation, but let me show you here the exercise working. I have to warn you, to earn something in this game, it's quite hard, but I showed you something here. I did some trials here, but let me clear this console. Okay, let's try. Okay, so that was my random board, and unfortunately I didn't have any payout based on the pay lines that I have configured here. So this is a bet in cents, so €1, of course, 100 cents. Okay, let's try again. No luck. No luck again. Let's try. Let's see if I can get something here. It's really hard. It's not really. Oh God, I get something. I got. Okay, so I had a pay line here. I pay out actually, and since I did 3 consecutive symbols based on this pay line here on this board, I had a total one of 20 cents based on the payouts percentage. So as you can see, the bet originally was 100 cents plus 20%. It's gonna be 120. Okay, the total amount that I'm going to earn. So it's pretty much that, guys. So I hope I was clear in the explanation. I hope also that you were able to identify a viable way of using that. And as I showed you, I had to use this formula here. I had to apply this approach in order to succeed in the performance tests. So using the traversing, of course, it wasn't the best, and I think that they were expecting some sort of solution such as I have provided here. So I hope I was clear, and I hope you understood that. And please give me your feedback. Let me know if I have left something behind, if I didn't answer some question, and just let me know if I can help you somehow. And please comment and let me know what is your feedback. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.